Today, we will tackle a very important topic that affects many of us: envious and fake relatives. This is a delicate but fundamental issue for protecting our mental health and family relationships. Many times, we find ourselves in situations where our relatives seem to be envious of our successes or even fake in their behavior towards us. This can create tensions and difficulties within the family, but it is important to be aware of these signs and learn to manage them in the best possible way. In this video, we will explore 5 key signs that indicate the presence of envious and fake relatives in our lives. We will learn to recognize the subtle but significant behaviors that can indicate jealousy or falseness, and discuss strategies for dealing with these situations in a constructive and healthy way. Remember, recognizing envious and fake relatives is not just an act of self-awareness, but it is also an important step to protect our happiness and emotional well-being. Knowing these signs can help us navigate complex family dynamics with authenticity and wisdom, creating healthier and more meaningful relationships. So, if you are ready for a journey of self-exploration and personal growth, we invite you to stay with us for the next 10 minutes. Take some time for yourself, relax, and prepare to open your mind to new perspectives. It is important that you watch this video until the end, because you will discover exactly how to identify and manage the envious and fake behaviors of your relatives, improving the quality of your family relationships. It is time to learn to recognize envious and fake relatives and create more authentic and fulfilling relationships in your life. Before we begin, we invite you to subscribe to the Pearls of Wisdom channel and give us a like if you find this content useful. Let's start with a list of 5 signs and behaviors that can indicate the presence of envy and falseness in our relatives. 1. Hypocritical compliments. When your relatives praise you excessively or insincerely, it could be a sign of envy or falseness. This happens when the compliments seem out of place or not genuine, perhaps accompanied by facial expressions or tones of voice that do not match the content of the compliment. This behavior could indicate that your relatives are not truly happy for your successes and instead try to mask their true feelings with false courtesy. 2. Lack of support. If your relatives show no interest or support for your successes and achievements, it could be a sign of envy or jealousy. The lack of enthusiasm or support may indicate that they feel threatened by your successes and try to downplay your achievements to feel better about themselves. 3. Constant criticism. If your relatives constantly criticize your actions, decisions, or successes, it could indicate that they are envious or trying to undermine your self-confidence. Constant criticism can be a way for them to project their own insecurities onto you, making you feel inadequate or insufficient. 4. Senseless competition. If you notice that your relatives are constantly trying to compete with you or prove their superiority in an insincere way, it could be a sign of envy or insecurity on their part. This senseless competition can manifest through behaviors such as boasting about their own successes or trying to show they are better than you in situations where it is not necessary. 5. Passive-aggressive behaviors. If your relatives show passive-aggressive behaviors such as ignoring you or making sarcastic comments, it could be a sign of envy or resentment that they are trying to hide. These behaviors can be a way for your relatives to express their disagreement or frustration without directly addressing the issue, but they can also reflect a sense of envy or resentment towards you. Here are now the 3 strategies we want to share to protect you from these negative influences. First strategy: trust your instincts. Trusting your instincts means listening carefully to those internal sensations that warn us when something is wrong in family relationships. These instincts can manifest through feelings of discomfort, nervousness, or intuitions that tell us something is wrong, even if we cannot identify exactly what it is. Learning to trust these internal signals is essential because they can often be more reliable than we think. When it comes to family relationships, we are sometimes inclined to ignore or justify negative behaviors because we do not want to create conflicts or hurt feelings. However, if our instincts warn us that something is wrong, it is important to pay attention to these signals rather than ignore them. Trusting your instincts allows you to be more aware of relational dynamics and to recognize negative influences within the family more easily. This allows you to take measures to protect yourself from these harmful influences, setting healthy boundaries, and maintaining emotional distance when necessary. Second strategy, recognize toxic behavior patterns. Recognizing toxic behavior patterns in our relatives is fundamental to better understanding the dynamics of family relationships and protecting ourselves from the negative effects that may arise. Identifying these patterns allows you to be more aware when problematic situations occur within the family. This means being able to recognize when a toxic behavior repeats over time or occurs in certain circumstances. For example, you might notice that a relative constantly criticizes your life choices or constantly tries to prove their superiority in various family situations. Being aware of these patterns helps you to better foresee and handle negative situations when they arise and to take preventive measures. Furthermore, recognizing toxic behavior patterns helps you avoid taking responsibility for problems that are not yours and to maintain a balanced perspective on family relationships. Before proceeding with the last and most important point, if this topic personally affects you, our video, How to Recognize a Dangerous Relative in Your Life, could be helpful. You can find the link in the description. Let's continue. Third strategy, establish healthy boundaries. Learning to establish healthy boundaries in family relationships is a crucial step to protect ourselves from the negative influence of envious or fake relatives. This process involves a series of actions aimed at clearly defining our personal boundaries, communicating our needs and expectations, and maintaining emotional distance when necessary to preserve our well-being. It is essential to communicate openly to our relatives what we need and what our expectations are regarding family relationships. This can include the need for mutual respect, personal space, emotional support, or other. Expressing clearly and respectfully what we want from family relationships helps us create defined boundaries and avoid misunderstandings. Learning to say no when necessary is also fundamental to maintaining healthy boundaries in family relationships. This can mean refusing unreasonable requests, toxic behaviors, or involvement in situations that make us uncomfortable. Saying no assertively and respectfully allows us to defend our boundaries and protect our emotional well-being. Finally, when family relationships become toxic or harmful, it may be necessary to maintain some emotional distance to protect ourselves. This does not necessarily mean cutting off contact completely, but rather establishing clear limits on the type and frequency of interaction with certain relatives. Maintaining emotional distance allows you to protect yourself from negative energy and keep your mental and emotional health intact. In summary, implementing these strategies helps you develop greater awareness of family dynamics and protect yourself from negative influences, allowing you to maintain healthier and more rewarding relationships with your relatives. Besides the signs of envy and falseness and the mentioned strategies, today we also want to emphasize the importance of establishing genuine and deep relationships in our lives, especially within the family. Cultivating authentic and meaningful relationships with our relatives also requires the ability to forgive, communicate openly, and support each other. These elements contribute to creating positive and lasting family bonds, enriching our lives and bringing greater happiness and satisfaction. Forgiveness is a crucial element in family relationships. Being able to forgive our relatives for any past mistakes or hurts allows you to overcome tensions and conflicts, paving the way for greater harmony and mutual understanding. Open and honest communication is also fundamental to building strong and lasting relationships with relatives. Being able to express your thoughts, feelings, and needs clearly and respectfully promotes mutual understanding and constructive conflict resolution. Finally, mutual support within the family is essential for the emotional and psychological well-being of all members. Being there for each other during times of joy and difficulty creates deep and lasting bonds that support you throughout life's journey. We have reached the end of this video. To watch our video, How to Recognize a Dangerous Relative in Your Life, click now in the upper right corner of the screen. If this video has inspired you, give us your valuable like and subscribe to the Pearls of Wisdom channel. Also, remember to access the description to start your journey towards a calmer and more mindful life today. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.